Hey everybody, we are back. I'm GQ and I'm joined by Boulevard today, and we are live from the bench. Thanks
Good.
for coming, everybody.
What's good,
Uh
y'all?
we see a lot of things happening. Everybody got a chance to witness some new things, new news in the football world, in the sports world, in the sports community, and we're gonna take some time to discuss a little bit of it. Uh Before we get too in depth, um, I want to make sure that we understand that everybody understands that these things that we're watching, these sports, it's just a game still. Uh, don't go too crazy. Don't do stupid things. Have fun. If you're gonna gamble on the game, gamble. Just expect to lose some money because if you're gambling, you're probably a loser anyway. And we saw recently the Colorado State defensive back that the late hit on Travis Hunter is now facing death threats and threats of violence toward him. So, I mean, everybody, it's a game. Let's not do this. It's a kid's game. So, anyway, Boulevard, what you got for me today?
Well, yeah, Eagles got interest in Buda Baker allegedly. I mean, I keep hearing it's on and off, but that's the word again.
That's perfect. I mean, I've been hearing about this all summer, and like once free agency first started, I've been hearing about this, so I'm excited about it. Um, the interest in Buda Baker, it's one of those things. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I guess the bench baby is coming to join us. What's up, sweetheart?
Oh, anyway, yeah, the Eagles have interest in Buda Baker. I'll believe it's actually something when I see it. Because I keep hearing this on and off. It just sounds like the same story. I'm sure he wasn't the only team that showed interest in Buda Baker. He's a decent player for his position and at his talent and age. He'd be useful in a good defense, a solid, playoff caliber defense. Somebody that could actually use his value, not some garbage in his team like he's been currently residing on. So I'm with
Well,
it.
yeah, well, I mean, it's something that's been talked about for the past few months. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Buda Baker, he would love to play in Philadelphia.
It's not news to me till it happens, really,
Yeah,
but it's back out there again in the ether.
yeah,
No,
and it makes you think like who's putting this out there? Is it actual? Is it real? Is it real interest? I mean, I won't say that it's not real interest because it would be crazy if the Eagles aren't putting interest in a guy like Buda Baker. I'm sure they're interested. It's just whether or not the conversation is real.
at worst, they've
Um,
inquired about. At worst,
yeah, it's like, is it something that we should be getting excited about? Should it something that we get our hopes up?
no.
Uh, it's nothing. I don't think it's nothing until we really get something. So someone speaks, someone says something, and that's not what we're hearing. Again, I would love to see Buda Baker in the Philadelphia Eagles uniform. I would love to. He's not going to be wearing that number 3. So, yeah, so we got to get that idea out of our head because that's Nolan Smith's number.
Yeah, whatever that's worth at this point.
Yeah, and and honestly, Arizona doesn't need him. It's obvious what we're seeing out of Arizona. Arizona is not just bad because we see that they can actually put up the points to win the game. They are absolutely tanking, and I refuse to believe that they're doing anything but tanking because uh, they just played. That was New York, right? I believe it was New York that was turned out to be a better game.
Mm-hmm.
Josh
Yes.
Dobbs performed fantastically. James Conner performed fantastically. That team came out and they were performing fantastically offensively. They didn't start slouching defensively until the end of the game. And you already know with John Gannon, he's that kind of coach defensively where he doesn't know how to adjust defensively. We already
Mm-hmm.
saw that in the Super Bowl. Um, they're tanking. Obviously, if they're not tanking, they're that damn bad to where the head coach, who is supposed to be the defensive specialist, needs to be fired. it's no point in even waiting around to see how good he can be as a coach. Because obviously, if you have failed to adjust defensively as a defensive specialist, uh, there has to be a problem. Somebody has to look at that. So no, Buda Baker should go.
Under no circumstances are you going to tell me that Arizona had any business losing this game, being up 22-0 at halftime
Absolutely,
and losing.
absolutely not.
That's Gannon's fingerprints all over it.
Absolutely.
Man, I hate to
And
say he got
Josh,
outcoached, but he seems to get outcoached quite a bit. And if you're implying that
mm-hmm.
they're tanking, I think that the whole tank started when they hired this guy to be their coach. It's not an intentional tank. It's just a bad roster with a really bad coach. And
it's
I mean,
it's
like the
that it's
fact
the
that
way that they
they're
lost.
accomplishing anything with Dobbs,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably more of
Exactly.
a testament to the players on the field playing their asses off because it's not a good roster.
Right.
They're winning
The
on just oomph, I guess, just on fire.
mm-hmm.
Because I mean, not even winning, they're competing. Because they're not winning, they're still a bad team. They might think they're just competing.
Yes,
It's not
I agree.
Gannon, it's the players on the field. It's probably more the coordinators. We know Gannon's not going to win. He doesn't have that
Absolutely.
closeout mindset, obviously, which he's proven. He don't know how to finish the job. He let the Giants
Nope.
score 31 in the second half. And you might as well say it looked just like the damn Super Bowl. Just the
It
way
does.
they were
It
moving the ball all over the Cardinals, just like the
150%.
KC moved the ball all over the Eagles in the second half. Gannon was
150
the
10%.
tank. Like you're not tanking for Caleb Williams, you're tanking for a new coach. You can get
Mm-hmm.
him out of here. We can stop all the Gannon talk. We never have to hear his name again. He can go be a linebacker coach for some nobody, nothing. Who cares? Is the point. Let him just go away, actually learn to do what he's supposed to be doing out there, and then maybe 10 years from now we can talk about him as a coaching candidate. But Gannon's not the guy.
Agreed.
Gannon's not the guy.
Agreed.
Like it just
Yeah,
no.
and it sucks because jo- John Gannon was a DB's coach. And if you're failing to make one of the best safeties in the game successful, like if you're struggling with one of the best defensive backs in the game with Buda Baker, you gotta let him go. There's no way you're gonna let somebody like basically you're tarnishing his skill set being coached by a
You're
guy like
wasting
him.
his prime is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like
So
I'm sure he's not the only one on that defense who's probably trying to get out of there at this point.
hmm
There's
so
a
I would love
stake
to
floating
see
around, and you really don't want to get caught in the
right.
stake. You don't want to
I'd love
track
to
it with
see
you.
Buda Baker in Philadelphia. I'd love to
Yeah,
see him in Philly.
exactly. I agree, but I'll be happy when I see it. Until then, I don't
Yeah.
care. Rumors is
Yeah.
rumors.
Rumors
But
is rumors.
but this is what's not a rumor. The NFC East is undefeated against everyone but the NFC East. It's a beautiful thing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know what it's worth or none of that, but I just think it's hilarious to me
It
because
speaks
it's the most
volumes.
competitive team in league in football.
Yeah, I say it's like, and this has always been something. Is like I feel like the NFL needs to do a realignment because there is no way that a team like Washington Commanders, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Dallas Cowboys should be in the same division. Well, granted they should because New York, I could see New York Giants, uh, New York, Washington, well, New Jersey, Washington, and Philadelphia being in the same division. Dallas shouldn't be. I think they need to do a realignment because of the way that looks is like those it shouldn't be. Like it's insane to me because these guys are all playoff teams. They potentially can be playoff teams in one way or another. Like what somebody's a wild card team, but there's a potential that all four of these teams can be playoff teams. And I feel as if that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't have a division full of playoff teams. Like last year, we almost saw all four teams in the playoffs. Like all four. were in the playoffs up until the last few weeks. And that
Yeah.
was that's something that you should never see in a division. So
Well, in a
it
I mean,
just
there should be a little more parity, but hey, that's just the way the chips crack. I don't know.
yeah,
But
I think they should realign because I don't know. I think it's
did you
just
know
due,
once upon a time the Baltimore Colts were in the AFC West?
and exactly why
Mm-hmm.
they just need to do a realignment. It's all
Yeah.
messed up. Um, I got a story that I picked up earlier. It was I didn't get much from it. I'm still waiting to get more. But the NFL is launching a lawsuit, a complaint against NFL agents. I'm not sure if it was the player association or if it was just agents, because they're saying that the agents are telling running backs to fake injuries to uh to force negotiations,
Mm,
to tip the hands in negotiations. And I say this because I'm never going to sit here and say don't pay somebody. Like if
right.
you got to, that's what you got to do to get paid. To get paid. But at the same time, I don't think faking an injury is going to benefit you because now you look injury prone because you faked the injury. So uh, I'm not sure how this is going to play out. It's interesting all in itself, but I don't think this is the way you want to go about it to get more money because it just proves everybody's point about running backs. If you're telling your running backs to come out here and fake injuries, it just looks like they're injury prone, and nobody's gonna want to pay an injury prone running back. So
Right.
I don't know if there's any truth to the agents doing that, but it is something that's a conversation, and I want to see more come out of the story.
No, no, there's, how do I put it? It doesn't really. I can't imagine an agent telling their player to do something self sabotaging like that. It's like
Yeah.
there's no benefit to it. It's not going to earn you more money. Well, it might take strain off of you, but they just wanted to give you their reputation of being injury prone or a slacker. And you don't
Mm-hmm.
want either of those things attached to you as a running back. Really,
Absolutely.
any position, but especially as a running back, there's so few positions and so many of you in such short careers. So you want to maximize every chance you can get to earn a second contract. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want to go out there and fake injuries. Like, why would you want to fake injuries anyway? If you have to come to
Right.
that, then you don't belong out there to me. Like, that's just
Absolutely.
against the whole thing, whole everything. I don't understand
Yeah.
it. So I can't imagine that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that faking injuries should ever be a thing in the league unless you're losing and you're trying to stop the clock. I don't think faking injuries should ever happen. Which my kids, they play little league football, and I was just at a game this past week. And this what was the age group? 10 to 12 age group. This game was so long and so, I don't know, it got everybody excited because the score was 12. No, the score was 13-6 in like the last 4 minutes of the game. The other team drove and they ended up scoring. But throughout the game, because it was like 47 seconds left, and they ended up driving, but they kept stopping the clock. They stopped the clock about 10 times because the players were on the other team kept getting injured. And I'm like, the coach is definitely telling them to do that. It's definitely something the coach is telling them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gets so exciting because the game is looking interesting. You're watching this game. And I'm like, me personally, I don't care about this team, but the fact that the game was going down to the wire was just interesting. It was just the competition of it because the score
Always
ended up
is.
being
Yeah.
13-12, watching these 10-year-olds play. And it was like the refs were trying to keep the other team in the game because the young man tackled the team. The game should have been over. 1 second left. The clock went to zero. The alarm went off and everything. The clock went to zero. The ref threw a flag. and it kept his team, and they scored. And I was just like, Jesus Christ! Now they're gonna try to get the extra point. They just happened to miss. Game was over.
Shout out to bribing referees.
Listen. I talked to one of the refs the other day, and we are talking, and he was like, "Yeah, I get paid $100 to $150 a day. I mean, per game." And I'm like, "Sign me up." Why the hell not? Get a little extra money on the weekend. But that was something, bribing the refs. And you want to speak about bribing the refs? I think the Colorado State did that in the past game, but let's get into it.
I don't think Colorado bribing anybody.
No, I think Colorado State did.
That's the only chance in hell they would have had. So,
yeah, I feel like because there's no way that hit on Travis Hunter was not or should not should have been called. That guy should have been out of the game.
Obviously, he's out for 3 weeks with a lacerated liver.
Who, Travis Hunter?
Got his liver cut. Lacerated liver.
Yeah, but the dude that hit him should have been out of the game. But it's it's completely different from the NFL because how do you punish that?
That's how you punish it. I mean,
like just kick him out of the game, or because how do you say is there a fine?
No, you can't fine him.
Yeah, so it's just how do you punish that? Unless you say you can't play a couple games, and I don't see that happening.
That's it. So. That's the only thing you can take from them is their football.
It was an interesting game because at a certain point in the game, I was like, "Oh, this game is not going the way we want it to go." It was just interesting. I was like, "Ooh, prime. What you got for me, man?" 2 overtimes. Double overtime.
Well, it was almost a classic. Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, and like I say, the refs do sit to keep people in the game. So, but I want to get into what led to this game being as important or as such a highlight game, because it essentially became the Met Gala of sorts, because you seen everybody there. Dwayne Johnson, Offset, everybody. I didn't even see who everybody was there. It was just way too much celebrity at this game. And these are still, like I said, it's a kid's game. This is a game for kids. So, and I believe what led to this was Jay Norvell's comments about Prime, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, regards to him wearing sunglasses and a hat during a press conference. Now, I'm a firm believer of minding your goddamn business, because if somebody's gonna wear a hat in a press conference, that ain't got nothing to do with you. I believe that everybody looked at Jay Norvell and was like, "You're nobody." He made a few comments. He became relevant temporarily.
Slightly. Yeah.
And now the game comes. There's a lot of talk about this. Jay Norvell is getting more publicity than he's probably ever gotten, because let me tell you something. I didn't know who this man was until he said what he said about Prime. I did not know who he was. And that's the only reason why, is because he was smart. If he had a YouTube page and people wanted, I don't know, he probably got more followers that week too. He might have gotten doubled his follower count, because nobody knew who the hell he was until he said that. And everybody's like, "Ooh, Jay Norvell." Let me
I just want to say one thing. The sideline thing with all the celebrities, it kind of bothered me. It really did. Because it just seemed like there was too much focus on that.
It was.
And to me, that's more for the recruiting. It's why is everybody on the sideline? Why can't they just come in and sit the hell down? Why is everybody on the sideline? They're not even doing anything but getting in the way. That's my thing. You don't need to be on the sideline. They showing people on camera. It's one dude in the camera. He's showing his watch. What are you doing there? Did you come all the way to Colorado to show off your watch? Go sit in the sun. Go sit in the crowd. What is that? What is that? It's not a fashion show. It's a football game. It's not a celebrity
Yes.
event. It's a football game. This is what I've been talking about. They are getting off track, putting too much focus on everything but the players. Do you know what Shador
Mm-hmm.
Sanders' stats are this season? 10
Insane.
touchdowns, 1 interception, 1,251 yards, 78% of his passes, 9.2
Mm-hmm.
yards per attempt. Per catch, per
Mm-hmm.
reception. Three
Mm-hmm.
games. 3 games.
3
Okay?
games.
5-10 in
Pros.
one.
It's a lot of pros that aren't
Five
doing that.
ten in one game. We're talking about we're putting more focus on celebrities on the sideline who got a
Mm-hmm.
brand new watch. I don't know who it is. I don't care. I'm there to watch the game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like I'm there to
Short.
watch Shador Sanders. I'm there to watch Travis Hunter pretend he should be on both sides of the ball when he's obviously a receiver. I mean, he's out now for a couple of weeks, but he's obviously a receiver. Like all of this,
Mm.
that's just extra nothing. He doesn't need to be on both sides. What needs to be done is that defense needs to play a lot better in Colorado. All that hype, nobody's noticing that 2 out of the 3 games been damn shootouts. Nobody's paying attention to that. Now they're going into Oregon, number 10 in Oregon, and he's got to play. He's going to get challenged this time. They may not come out whole. Okay, Shador Sanders, this might be a make or break game for him. We know he's getting
Yes.
talked about on a Heisman list, and if at this rate, it'll come down to him or Caleb Williams. Right now, Caleb Williams is
Mm.
still ahead because, Bo only missed 5 passes in his last 2 games. So he just busting ass out there. Shador Sanders is right by catching up on him now. This is
Mm.
one of them games that'll make that difference.
Mm.
It's not going to be up to
Mm-hmm.
celebrity or who's and who's here to watch. No, it's going to be a football game, and that is all that's going to matter. So this is his put up or shut up. This is that whole team and Deion's put up or shut up. I want him to win. I want them to run the clock. I want them to run the table. I do. It's a beautiful story.
I'd
I
love to see
support
it. Love
Deion
to
and
see it.
everything. But if we're being realistic, they're not getting out of Oregon with a win. So whether or not they're the first team in 15 seasons for Colorado to go from 11 losses to 4-0, this is Colorado. Okay, this is still Colorado. They ain't been good since
Mm-hmm.
Rashawn Salam. Oregon's projected to win by 20. It's expected to be another shootout, over under around 70. These numbers will drop, but this is what is expected now: a shootout. Colorado's
Mm.
not going to be able to keep up. This is the week we stop all this nonsense. Actually, get back to focusing on football, not
Mm.
celebrity coaches. That's what I think.
I like it. I'm with it. I'm all about the game. That's what it's always been about. It's always been about these kids' development, these kids' futures. It's not
That's
about the coaches
all. That's the
because
focus.
and them putting so much emphasis on Coach Prime being who he is. The fact that the coach has a name like Coach Prime is in and of itself the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, we know you're Deion Sanders, but
Right. Did you become a coach because you're Deion Sanders, or did you become a coach because you wanted to help them become better at football
yeah.
and at life?
And personally, and I'll be honest with you, I personally believe that Dion has the right intentions. He may
I
have
do
the right
too.
mindset, but it's the celebrity that surrounds him. Because he made a comment recently that he doesn't want to coach in the NFL. Now I don't know how true that is. That could be just lip service. But he said he doesn't want to coach. He doesn't want to coach grown men because, and again, grown men tend to be
Amen.
prideful assholes and they don't want to listen. Sometimes you get that. However, once you get to the pro level, which I mean, this is essentially their job. But also, you may deal with that because these NIL deals, which we have talked about so many times on this
Simply,
show,
yeah.
they're getting out of hand
They're going to come
because
in
you
there
get
with
to a
pro
point where people
egos
don't
coming
care
out of
about
high
money.
school. So,
Yeah, because Travis Hunter's injured. He's going to miss a couple games.
mm-hmm.
Uh, but him missing a couple games doesn't hurt him.
No.
Because the man is going to get his money regardless. He's already
Mm-hmm.
got his deal, already got his NIL deal, so he don't need anything. Now, if this is pro football, it'd be something completely different.
Yeah,
So in and
but
of
I mean,
itself,
like you're saying with that, I mean, the boy, if he say that, I mean, he's out. Considered for 3 weeks. He's
yeah.
considered to be out for 3 weeks. Who's to say Colorado doesn't start losing then? Does he come back to a 2-3 team
Mm,
or 3-3 or whomever? A 3-3 team? No.
hmm.
Who says he has? Why doesn't he just leave and go get ready for the draft? That's
Right.
all I'm like.
At this
With
point in his
all
career,
the
why
money
not?
he's getting, he has no real reason to go back out there
Exactly.
unless he has more time next season. He has
Yeah,
nothing to
like
gain by going back on the field.
yeah. Because what is this? His sophomore year or is it junior year?
I cannot recall.
Yeah. Because honestly, there is no reason for me to go out. It's no reason for me to keep playing. I declare if this is the situation I was in, I declare if
Mm-hmm.
I'm eligible, I'm declaring. I'll sit
Yeah,
out the rest of the
right.
season
Right, that
because
option is right there in front of you if you want to.
yeah,
If you want it,
and the thing is like, and where I feel as though guys like Travis Hunter, he can develop off the field.
mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't need to go out there and play because the film is already on film. We know who Travis Hunter is already. He's gonna have to develop when he gets to the pro level.
He's going to
I
have to
mean, I
find a
doubt.
position.
Yeah,
Stop playing
that's
around
that's
like that.
that's one thing is because I don't know. I mean, offensively, we know he's capable. We know what
Mm-hmm.
he is offensively.
Yeah,
Defensively, I don't know. Is he a solid? Is he a top 10 DB? Is he
three
a top
games,
10
9
receiver?
tackles, 2 pass defenses, and a pick. But he didn't really. Yeah, I mean, he spent a lot of time on the field, but not as much on
Mm-hmm.
offense as defense. I mean, as
Mm.
much on defense as offense. Whatever. Right. He
So
was
how?
pretty much a full time wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
so we lean into that. I think we lean into that. And then you look at guys like Shiloh. Is he somebody who's going to be in the draft?
no idea.
And that's where we got to start looking. It's like at what point, because of the NIL bills, at what point do we start saying they don't need to come out here because they got their money? They can just declare. It's like these guys can say, "Oh yeah, I got 1 year film already. I'm gonna sit out the next two,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna declare." So it's problematic. I would love to see Shador come. I mean, I'd love to see Travis Hunter come back and play the rest of the year, but he doesn't really have any reason to. He'd rest
Right.
that liver, sit out the rest of this season, rest that liver up because these guys aren't playing. They're not playing for anything besides maybe a Heisman Trophy. And what are the odds that they're going to get it? So,
Well,
uh, other than
that's
that,
that's totally up to Shador Sanders. It isn't going to be
mm,
anybody else on the team.
right, right. So they're basically playing for Shador.
Yeah.
But uh, at the same time, because what is the likelihood that Colorado is going to be competing for the national championship? That's
Not
highly
likely, but
unlikely.
that's the story. I
Yeah,
mean, who's to say they even
it's
get out of this weekend?
it's like I can't see that happening. It's because you still got to beat out these higher ranked teams. I don't see them coming out there and taking number one. Who that? Georgia is it Georgia number one?
It probably is. It usually
Yeah.
is.
So I don't see them coming out there and beating Georgia. I don't see them. I can't see. Like I hate to say it, but no, thank you. I don't see Deion Sanders and the Buffaloes beating Georgia. It's not happening.
No,
But and
not
so it's just like
Georgia,
at this point, are
not
they playing for Coach Prom's
Longhorns,
record?
maybe Florida State. Not so sure about USC. No. And
But
Michigan.
what
No.
the
So,
question is like, are they playing for Coach Prime's record? Are they because it boils back down to Coach Prime because it's like these guys because they received their NIL deals, which is the
mhm.
problem with NIL. It's like basically the coach wants you to play because he has something to gain, like a potential NFL offer. But then again, the coach doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to coach.
Allegedly, a lot of coaches say they
Yeah,
don't want to coach the NFL,
Chip
and so
Kelly said
that's
the
like
same damn thing.
that's basically saying, "Hey, NFL, I'm interested." So
Yeah, like, and I can't see Prime coaching in the NFL right now. I still think he's got a long way to go.
no, he should sit in college for a few more years.
Yeah, and
Let some of his
uh,
them players from college get into the pros and get into their years, so we can actually not have to deal with this generation. They'll get the next one.
yeah,
The
honestly,
spoiled ass generation.
yeah, because I for one,
Stars.
because I question you want to ask. I want to ask this question. Let's say Shador, Hunter, Shiloh, some of these other guys. Like, do you see how many first round picks you think they're going to get out of this Colorado team? Do you
Well, I
see
don't
many?
really know much about the whole roster, but from what I'm understanding and seeing with my own eyes, Shooter is the only likely one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't see Travis Hunter going in the first?
Mm, I ain't see enough on the field.
Well,
I
see,
know the ability's there, but I'm not first
yeah.
rounding on what could be. First rounding on
See,
what
and
is.
and that's why I think that's the problem with him playing both sides, is
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know who he is because he's playing both sides. So it's just like, where am I committing? Because when they draft him, they're going to pick a position for him,
Right.
and they could end up picking wrong.
Yeah. But no,
You
just
could come
no.
out
He
and
needs to figure it out now. Start training for that position. Start making focusing on that
yes,
position,
yes,
and not
because
trying to be some amazing game breaker on both sides of the ball because he's not being that.
right,
Like
and you
defensively,
know,
he's not doing anything really that somebody else better prepared for the position would be doing. Like
yeah,
you
because
couldn't
like
get nine
I'm
tackles,
sorry.
two pass defenses, and an interception from your typical number one or number two. Is the team
Mm-hmm.
that bad without
Right,
without Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball? I mean, the
right.
secondary is obviously trash. The defense is trash, but he's
Mm-hmm.
not making them better. Is the point? So keep him
Yeah,
where he belongs, where he's best at, and just let everything else fall into place. Like,
and wanted to say like for like experiences in the league, we saw that with Devin Hester.
mm-hmm.
Devin Hester played both sides quite a bit when he was in college, and the Bears initially drafted him the wrong position. A lot of people don't
Quarterback.
talk about it, but he was a cornerback. They drafted him
Mm-hmm.
as a cornerback, and he got no time. He got no
Oh yeah,
real playing time at corner.
they tried. They tried. They did. They tried to make him a corner. Then they tried
And
to make
then
him a receiver. He was obviously better at receiver, but he was
and it
just
took too
fast.
long.
He was
It just
fast.
yeah,
He's greatest kick
it was
returner.
just yeah. And that was probably the best thing for them to do is just decide that you're gonna be a kick returner.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a simple fact that you made that mistake of drafting them at the wrong position
Mm-hmm.
for them not to play that position.
And they drafted him on potential, what could be, and not what already was,
Mm-hmm.
which was a solid kick returner.
Then you probably could have got him at a lower draft number.
Mm-hmm.
But
People be
maybe
trying too
undrafted.
hard, playing too cute with the draft, playing too cute with free agency, like they're the smartest person in the room.
Yeah,
No,
and that happened in Philadelphia when
be
they drafted
logical.
Jalen
Be
Rager.
think intelligent choices. Go with the sometimes the most obvious is the most obvious for a reason.
Always the most obvious. I have
So
never in my life seen like a team mess up a draft by drafting by trying to be cute instead of taking the obvious pick than I've seen in Philadelphia.
it never goes. It never really goes well trying to make the cute, smart, the fancy pick. The
Mm-hmm.
surprise, not going with what's sitting right in front of you. Especially
Yeah,
high in the draft, you know what's there. Those are the players you've been scouting the most.
yeah.
So
Because something I will never let go of is Philadelphia going Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson.
yeah, that was just stupid.
Yeah, and I don't know who was so high on Jalen Rager, but that person should be out of the
Who's to say
business.
they're not just out of Philly? As long as they're out of Philly, who cares?
I mean, if it was me, if I was the person that made that call, they would have fired me on the spot.
I mean, I'd say the only good receiver Eagles drafted in recent memory was Devontae. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if you look over the years, they haven't been especially great at drafting receivers anyway.
And I
I
think,
mean,
and that
I'm
was
not going to
the
say
common
Freddie.
sense pick.
Yeah,
He was the common sense pick. It's just like there, because basically when they drafted Devontae, everybody was looking at him like, "What are you going to do? You, you know what you're going to do. You know what you better do."
mm-hmm.
And they had no choice. They had no
Teams
choice.
screw up the obvious all the time, and they pay for it.
What was it? What was it? What was it? Judy? No, it wasn't Judy. It was Lamb. No, who was it? Was it Lamb, Judy, Smith?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Lamb, Judy, Smith, and Dallas moved up to take CD Lamb because they thought Eagles were going to go CD Lamb. Because I
Probably
don't think
was.
Eagles are going to. I mean, it could have been. I mean, I don't think they could have. It was a bad pick either way.
Right.
But I mean, I can't necessarily say I would have rather CD Lamb because Devontae hasn't performed bad enough to think we
That
could have
is a
picked
good
someone better.
question. Maybe we should put that up on a poll on the page. Would you
Oh,
rather have CeeDee Lamb or Devontae Smith?
hey, that's a
Yeah,
question. Hey,
you
we'll
go.
put that
You
up.
should post that up after the show.
Yeah, I'll put that up on all
All right.
platforms.
All right. I
All
like it.
platforms.
I dig it.
All right, before we end the show, let's see if we got anything else we can like quickly discuss.
Oh, well, I'm giving you all my best material. I don't know what you got. What you got? What you got? What you got?
Let's think.
All right, we got.
Of the new head coaches, let's
Mhm.
do that. The new head coaching hires in the NFL. I want to see if we can do a quick grade on each one. It's a bit way too early, but I think I want to talk about them.
Okay. I'll find them and bring them onto the screen for us. I got it. Hold on. Relax your boobies. I got this. I got this. Okay. Then we're going to
All
start
right.
in Arizona with Johnny Gannon. Your boy. You know you love him. What do you get? What grade do you give him?
Yeah. John Gannon gets a hardcore F.
Okay. Gets a
Hardcore F.
hardcore F. In the A?
Huh?
In the A? I mean, if it's hardcore, there's got to be some orifice. So, moving on.
Well, he's just like he just doesn't know how to adjust. I don't know. It's like he begins running his team and then he's just like
Yeah. You don't seem
it's
like a
like
very good coach to me.
it's like I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm gonna keep doing it because it's all I know how to do. That's what I think the problem is with him.
Well, that's never going to work. So, good luck
Frank
next
Reich would
year, Arizona. Next up
should be
is
good.
the son of Federal Express, Arthur Smith.
Well, he's been in Atlanta a little while now. Oh, you want to do
Mm-hmm.
all the coaches? We can know all of them.
I thought that's what we were doing.
I bet.
All right.
Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith. God, I'm gonna give him a C because he's not completely garbage, but he's not winning as much as he should be.
Oh, they
But
are
his
now.
roster
They
is.
are now.
Well, that's because they got Big John Mustard.
Oh,
But
they're for real now. That is exactly. I called them. They're going to be good this year.
we'll see.
So B for me.
I'll give
The
him a C.
lesser
But
known Harbaugh in Baltimore, John Harbaugh.
is he the lesser known? Because I think he's
Wow.
the. To me, he's the more known because that other guy in Michigan, he ain't win shit yet.
True
He
that.
ain't win
That's true.
nothing.
Facts.
Johnny
Facts.
got that bowl.
Man, a
So,
mediocre playoff record.
but I'll give
11
him
and
a
9.
I'll give him a B plus
Okay. I'll
because
give
he's
him a
gotten
B.
a Super Bowl ring. He's got a ring.
Sean McDermott.
I'm gonna give Sean McDermott a C
5
because
playoff berths, 3 AFC championships.
3 AFC championships and nothing to show for it.
Yep.
Nothing to show for it. Nah,
Hmm.
he's
You
not my
know
guy.
him. You love him. Frank Wright, Carolina.
Frank Wright gets a C for me too.
Hmm.
It's like no matter where he goes, he doesn't have a quarterback, and
He's the
I'm
quarterback, guys.
yeah, he's the quarterback guy and can't do shit with the quarterbacks he's got.
Hmm.
So I mean, if because he couldn't he did okay with Carson Wentz in Philadelphia, and then once he left, it's like you had Phillip Rivers, you had Matt Ryan, two guys that were proven to be effective quarterbacks. You did nothing with them.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got Bryce Young, and Bryce Young's looking like a pancake. He's
You
looking
mean
like
he's flat, or he's dry, or he's moist in the
listen,
middle,
he's
crispy on the outside?
all of
But
the above because he's not doing Bryce Young things. It's just, and
for
I don't
Bryce,
blame Bryce Young. I'm not going to blame Bryce Young. It's obviously the head coach doesn't know how to work with a quarterback like Bryce Young. Get
it's,
that man moving.
it's still early in the game. They'll figure it out.
Well, that's the
But for
reason why we're
now,
doing this. This is a way too early list. It's a
I ain't
way
got no
too
hope
early
in Frank
report
Wright.
card.
I ain't really got
None
much in
whatsoever.
Bryce. So we're gonna go down to Chicago and make Eberflus,
That
who
man gets an F.
yeah,
He gets an F. You're
exactly.
destroying Justin Fields. God
He's not
damn.
destroying Justin Fields. He haven't given him anything. It's not him. It's the
Exactly.
GM. That's the GM. They haven't given. Yeah, that's just a bad roster. I don't care what
Listen,
their final
I blame
record
the
is. They're a
coach.
bad roster.
I blame the coach because as the coach, even if your roster is shite, you got to make necessary adjustments. It's all about adjustments as a coach. Make the necessary adjustments. Tell and getting that GM's ass. Getting that GM's ass. Like you talk to the head coach, you talk to the owner, you talk to the GM. You hired me to bring this team around. Give me the people I need. I don't think he's doing that.
And they can't
You're
draft, and no one will come there in free agency.
if
That's
you
so
have
he's
a
fighting
GM,
from behind. There's a
yeah.
winning battle because it's Chicago.
But my thing is,
Who the hell
Ryan
would want to
Poles.
go play football in Chicago?
Well, here's my thing because I refuse to sit here. Eberflus has been coaching in football for a while now. He's an older guy. Ryan Poles has been a GM all of 2 years,
Holes.
3 years. And you mean to tell me that you hired a head coach and you rather take a young guy who's just been put in his position, haven't been in the role that he's been in very long. You're going to take him over this coach? No, that is a coach issue. The coach needs to step it up because if I've been coaching in the league for 10 years or more, and you have barely been out of the league for 10 years or more, because remember, Ryan Poles was actually drafted by the Bears as a former offensive line, couldn't hack it as an offensive lineman in the NFL, ended up on somebody's front office and found a way to move his way up and become the GM of the Bears. But him, even with that being said, if you're a head coach, you should be like, hey, listen, get me this guy, get me this guy, get me this guy. Because what's going to happen if you're not doing that, the Chicago Bears owner has to understand you're going to continue to lose. You're going to continue to be garbage if you're not setting some type of boundaries. Listen to your head coach. If your GM is not listening to your head coach, then you got a problem. You're going to continue to lose. And that's what's just going to happen. You're going to have a losing team, and no one's going to want to come there.
Okay. Next. Zach Taylor. Before we go further, I do want to say I find this guy very overrated. You look at the offense he has, and as far as they got, and I don't think
Well,
he's a help necessarily when it comes down to it. When chips are down, he's beneficial to the team. That's why with that offense he has a career losing record. So
boom. This is also an unpopular opinion when it
see,
comes to Zach Taylor. I give Zach Taylor a D, and here's why. Because Zach Taylor, for a while now, I don't think many people are catching it. Zach Taylor makes very bad decisions when the game is in crunch time.
mm-hmm.
Very bad decisions. And There was a game where it was the Chargers versus the Bengals, and I saw Zach Taylor make a shitty decision 3 plays consecutively. Games that would have knocked them out of the playoffs consecutively. Consecutively. The penalty is what kept them in the game. Zach Taylor should have been fired then. I think this year he should be fired as well because there's no reason for a guy to have the roster that they have and not be winning. They should not be winning. That year they beat the Chiefs and made it to the Super Bowl or against the Rams. There was no reason for them to not walk away with the Lombardi Trophy. The Rams did not have a better roster than the Bengals did. They did not have a better roster. The Rams roster was very mediocre. Very mediocre.
Keep talking. Give me a second. Keep talking.
So it was upsetting that Zach Taylor is still in this position that he's in now. He should be fired. He should be let go. And there's no reason I'm going to sit there and say I'm not going to be with the majority and say who they gonna beat the Bengals, because Zach Taylor is the reason why everyone's gonna beat the Bengals. The team is exposed now because all you have is Jamar Chase and that headhunter who likes to put their head in people's chests. No, Zach Taylor, you get a D from me. Get a D from me.
Going to Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski. One playoff berth, one coach of the year award. 3 seasons.
D.
Okay.
D. I don't know how you got a playoff berth, but you didn't deserve it. Garbage, 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 garbage. There is no reason. I mean, listen, it's Cleveland. So just because you accepted the job in Cleveland, that makes you garbage. That makes you a garbage coach. Why would you ever accept that job? I would not have accepted that job. Hell no.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't accept that job. You're garbage by association. D.
Proxy trash. Let's go to Dallas. Mike McCarthy. This nut ass dude.
I give Mike McCarthy a C because they're winning this year, but the reason why he doesn't get higher because he's not even the best coach on their team. That's why he gets a C. He gets a C because he's winning, but he's not the best coach on the team. The best coach on the team is the reason that they're winning. They're not winning because they're offense. They're winning because they're defense. You let a coach who was very mediocre and Dan Quinn be the show. He's the best damn coach on your team. McCarthy, you get a C.
It's the Cowboys. They can go to hell. That's my opinion. Anybody that coached them, the worst coach in the league. And this guy isn't far from it. So now we'll go to Denver. Their new coach, Sean Payton.
Sean Payton?
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton. Man. I'm going to give him a C. Because the reason why I give him a C, I give Sean Payton a C because he's won championships. That's it. Because you won off the arm of an NFL Hall of Famer.
Like, that was so long ago at this point, too.
Like, you won because you had a Hall of Famer in Drew Brees. If he did not have Drew Brees, because the year Drew Brees retired, and you did have a quarterback, but you had, like, Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, you couldn't hack it. You couldn't do shit with them.
Right.
So that says a lot about you as a coach.
They never even prepared for Drew Brees retiring either.
No, nothing. They did nothing. They thought they were going to lean on Taysom Hill.
Like, what was that? What was that whole experience? I mean, fantasy, I loved it. You had a tight end getting quarterback numbers. You had a tight end getting running back numbers. He was a godsend in fantasy football that people slept on until like game 9. Then you realized he was out there. Unless you're playing against me, then I already had him. Fuck y'all. That's how you play fantasy football. Anyway, Sean Payton, you had a few good years. I don't see it. I don't think you're as good as advertised. It might not have been you doing it.
And here's another thing, Sean Payton. Here's another reason why I think you're garbage. Why I think you get a C is because you couldn't find a better actor to play you in that Netflix movie. Y'all, the people went out and made a movie about you during Bountygate, and the best actor they could find to play you was Kevin fucking James.
Ew.
Yeah,
What?
Kevin James played him. They had him played by Kevin James. You know what that makes people think of you? That means they
He
think you're
fat.
fat. They
He
think
fat.
you're
Because
fat.
he fat. Because he fat. Yeah, coach. Of course he fat. All coaches is fat. If
So
they ain't fat, they ain't real coaches.
you
It
gotta
ain't you,
see.
D'Amico. All right, Dan Campbell. Campbell. Speaking of
Dan
fat.
Campbell. All
Speaking of
right,
fat.
so Dan Campbell, man, he's losing, but he's winning.
Like, I don't know
I
where I
give
stand
Dan.
on this guy. I would run through a wall for Dan Campbell.
He
But
gets a B minus from me. He's just
right,
the
but his
coach I'd want
record
to
is
play.
terrible.
I'd want to play. I would want to play for Dan Campbell. I'd coach for Dan Campbell because it just seemed like he just like, hey, this is an opportunity for you. Either I'm gonna suck so bad that you're gonna look good, or I'm gonna look so good you're gonna get a new opportunity. That's how Dan Campbell. That's the way he operates. He's just all about everybody else and not him. That's why I like Dan Campbell. He is like he's the players coach. He's the team coach. He is that guy, and his energy, like he's just passionate. That's why he gets a B minus from me. The only reason why he doesn't get higher is because he's not winning.
All right, I agree. Only reason he's not higher is because he's not winning. Then we go into Green Bay. Matt LaFleur, 47 and
Matt
19.
Matt LaFleur, I'll give you a B minus only because your record is high, but I still think you're trash because you're only winning. Your wins came from Aaron Rodgers, an MVP, someone who is MVP. You haven't shown me much without him. I cannot make a judgment
Really? Have you not
that you're
seen Jordan Love? Jordan Love come out here trying to shock the world.
because
Everybody
Jordan
is
Love
nobody
is.
believed in Jordan Love. He coming out firing.
I still don't believe in Jordan Love.
Mm. I mean, you might have to after a couple weeks like he's had.
We'll
A couple
see.
of those.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That boy looks
I
like a
want to
real
eat crow,
QB.
but Matt
That boy looks like
LaFleur
a
can
real
eat my.
QB.
But that's probably because he paid attention to Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
If
of
they
course
make
he
it to the
did.
playoffs,
He a
they
fool.
make it to the playoffs. If they make it to the playoffs, I will eat a bowl of rice.
Okay. Is that a
I'm allergic
punishment?
to I'm allergic to rice, and rice makes me throw up.
Okay. Probably come back to that in another episode. So for now, we're going to go south to Houston. D'Amico Ryan's his first year. What you think? What you think? What you think? What you think? What you
D'Amico
drink?
Ryans, you get it an F because you let them coax you to come coach in Houston. You had a bad relationship with Houston. You left Houston when you were playing for them. You left them and with bad you left them on a bad note. I wouldn't come back and coach for them. The owner's still the same.
Don't everybody leave Houston in a bad note?
It was just there's no reason for this man to come to Houston. Everybody was saying that there was no
Yeah,
way D'Amico Ryan.
yeah. No, that was just a bad idea across the board. And
He's
now
an
your
idiot.
drafts are screwed up for years, so you better hope Will Anderson is a defensive MVP level player.
It was crazy because I remember watching when they were doing the coaching carousel. It was like D'Amico Ryan's. He had a bad situation when he was in Houston. Bad. There was bad. Just a bad situation when he
Mm-hmm.
left Houston. So I was just like, there's no way he'll go to Houston. When I saw that they hired him in Houston, I was just like, that's insane. And I was just
That's
like, he's doomed
insane.
to fail for the next. Is just not going to be much. He's not going to win in Houston. So he gets what did I give him? I'll give him a D because I feel bad.
Okay. What do you give this first year head coach? Shane Steichen of Indy.
Man, I'm gonna give Shane Steichen a B minus because he
Damn, you're
wants to get improved.
generous.
I give him a B minus because he came in and he showed he knows how to use his quarterback. They can win with
Nice.
their quarterback.
He's got more rushing touchdowns than passing.
Hey, that worked.
And
It
he's
works.
already concussed. So that strategy wasn't the right one.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Listen, it's just my
The
way
Justin
too early
Fields
assessment.
strategy. That's what that is. That's the Justin Fields strategy. He can't
If it
throw, so let's
works,
just let
do
him
it.
run. It don't
If it
work. He
works,
out.
do it.
He
Oh
injured,
well.
and
Oh
it ain't
well. Do the
working.
same thing with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, go ahead and do that with Gardner Minshew. Nobody gives a damn about Gardner Minshew, but
Run
he's
the
out.
option with Gardner. That's why you do it, because nobody cares. No one's afraid of Gardner Minshew running it. So run the RPO, run the option with Gardner Minshew, and let that man get 70 yards on the ground.
The
Yes,
RPO is
because
dead.
nobody.
Long live the RPO.
Let him run it. Let him run the option with Gardner Minshew. It don't matter. It don't matter if Gardner Minshew is not fast. They're not gonna be expecting it, and he gonna run all over everybody.
He ain't gonna run all
No,
over
I'm
shit.
grasping at straws right
Throw
now.
up all over anything. That's what he's gonna do.
I'm grasping at straws here.
Yes, you are.
Next,
Dougie P in Jacksonville. I
Dougie
mean,
P.
Duval.
Dougie P can kiss my black ass, but I'll give him a B minus because
Okay.
he's
That's
doing his
60.
damn thing.
Doug
He's
Peterson,
doing his damn
average as
thing.
shit. That's all I'm saying. He got a
Yeah.
quarterback. He got average ass receivers. He'd be a fool not to be able to do something with this. So I ain't giving Doug Peterson no credit until he makes the moves that makes them successful. Just give them what they got now. They should be. They'll have a strong record. They should be winning more games than they're losing. So when it comes time deep in the season, you playing against your rivals for the second time, the position on the line. Let's see what Doug Peterson does then. Otherwise, meh. I don't care. It ain't him. Yeah. So now we go into the GOAT, Kansas City, Andy Reid.
All right, Andy Reid. All right, y'all ready for some unpopular opinions? Because y'all about to be mad at me.
2 Super Bowl championships, 3 AFC championships, 7 AFC West championships, 9 playoff berths, 4 NFC conference championship games.
All right, bet. Andy Reid gets an A plus from me.
Oh, that's so provocative.
It's but because until you said those numbers, I was gonna give him an A minus. But you said those numbers, I can't really give him, because the reason why I wanted to give him an A minus was because they struggling right now without Eric Bieniemy, and it begs questions, and we've seen a lot of it. This is the guy. Remember, this is the same guy that promoted an offensive line coach to defensive coordinator in Juan Castillo.
Yes, he did. And it was a
And that was
disaster.
the
We're bringing
disaster
in
in
the
Philadelphia.
line. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was horrifying. Horrifying. So that's the only reason why I considered giving him an A minus, giving him a lower grade.
Well,
But he is the
literally the
GOAT.
same thing Belichick caught flack for last year.
It's,
Exactly the
and
same thing. Flipping the position, like flipping a defensive coach to offensive.
man,
Juan
I can't wait
was
to
an
get to
old
that.
lineman coaching defense. Just
I
dumb,
can't wait to get to that.
illogical behavior. And we should expect more from these damn coaches. Andy Reid, I'll excuse that season because there was like a whole 2-year run that was just a clusterfuck in Philly with you. And that's why you left. With that said, you get an A out of me because
You hit a bench
I know
babies.
you're the best coach in the league. And nobody's going to convince me Belichick's anything but a fraud.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
All right. Do you want to go to Las Vegas? Do you
Let's
want
go
to
to
see
Las
a
Vegas.
show? The world's biggest arcade?
Yes,
Yes.
I do. But I don't want to see a Raiders game.
Nobody but Raiders fans want to go to
Why
Vegas.
is the bench baby yelling? Get the bench baby out of here.
Anyway, where do you stand on Josh McDaniels?
Josh McDaniels, he gets a Z.
Son of Belichick. That's what I call him.
He's so bad. Like, he is the worst coach in history. And I don't understand how this guy keeps getting coaching jobs or coaching offers. He's garbage.
Eric Mangini's the worst coach in history.
No. I refuse. I refuse.
The guy who won 1 game in 2 seasons in Cleveland.
It was Cleveland. What did you expect them to do?
Be competitive. Not win 0-16 and 1-15. Like, what are you doing?
Listen, Josh McDaniels had a solid team in Denver. And then they went and they screwed it all up because Jay Cutler was solid enough that he could win games with them, and they messed that up because they wanted to play with Tim Tebow. They wanted to
Uh-huh.
play with Tebow's little Willie, and then he messed that up, and he got fired. And then he almost had the coach job when they
Yeah,
had Andrew Luck. He almost had
yeah.
the coach job when they had Andrew Luck, and then he played in their face. Worst
Hmm.
coach ever. Mangini lost in Cleveland like he was supposed to.
He also
Josh
lost on the
McDaniel
Jets.
like he was supposed to. Josh McDaniel loses with teams he's not supposed to lose with. He had the Raiders, a solid team, a team that if you would have broke down that roster was solid, had no reason to be garbage.
Tim
Some odd
Tebow.
reason,
That's it. That's the reason. Tim Tebow. They had a quarterback that couldn't throw the
yeah,
ball.
but he screwed it up by going after Tebow. Had no
Yes, he
reason
did.
bringing him. Had no reason bringing it in. That's why Josh McDaniels the worst. Mangini can't be the worst because he lost where he was supposed to lose, wasn't supposed to win.
Rich Kotite's the worst. But
I don't even know that man,
another,
so he's not even my brain.
that's another day. That's another list.
Yes, we should do the top 12 worst coaches in NFL history. But
Send
yeah,
in y'all ideas who y'all think should be on that list.
Josh McDaniels, the worst. He boils my blood. Everything about anything from the Belichick cheese, the Belichick cheese bothers me. Josh McDaniels gets a Z. Like he's so far down. It bothers me. Why is he a coach? You fucking suck. They try to say he was like an offensive guru. No, you weren't even the offensive coordinator in New England. Tom Brady was.
They say a lot of people are offensive gurus. They say a lot of people are quarterback coaches. So, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They could say anything. It don't matter until you on the field. But let's get off of that bad coach and go on to Brandon Staley.
Winning with this team. How are you not winning with this team? It drives me bonkers. You have a average to solid quarterback, a great running back who can do everything, two of the most dominant receivers that have played the game. Well, you don't have a solid tight end, I don't think, anymore.
No.
Your O-line is meh. Your defense is threatening.
Okay.
So I don't understand it. What the fuck are you doing wrong?
He's a bad coach.
There he goes.
Taken all of that talent and have compiled since 2021 a 19-15 record. They did the playoffs once, immediately lost.
Immediately lost.
This is not a good coach. I think Josh McDaniels would be able to do more with this team than Brandon Staley has.
This is the guy that was playing against Zach Taylor when Zach Taylor 3 times in a row made bad plays and still lost. Still lost. Both of those guys should have been fired. Both coaches should have been fired in that game. I hate coaches that make stupid, repetitive decisions. F.
Speaking of coaches that are bad, which I think we're just going to keep doing, now we're going to Los Angeles Rams with the highly overrated, so overrated, Sean McVay. So overrated. He's a D for me. So overrated.
Sean McVay.
All the talent, all the top players and positions that are available, and we get one stinking Super Bowl out of it. Like you win, you make the playoffs, you win your divisions, the NFC West. But out of that 3 seasons, you get one Super Bowl because you're bad. Like you're a bad team. You're not. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not a bad team. Goff got more to blame than he deserved because Sean McVay was supposed to be the offensive guru. There's that phrase again. Mm-hmm. But he couldn't do shit with Jared Goff. So he brought in another quarterback, and the quarterback gets you there.
Right.
McVay got the credit. But the quarterback was the difference. McVay couldn't win with Goff, so he needed more talent at quarterback, which means he ain't the guy you would think he is if he couldn't do the job.
Right. 100%.
Overrated. All those weapons. Prime Aaron Donald. Jalen Ramsey. All these people set foot in this team. One championship. 4 playoff berths, 1 championship with that roster. Failure.
See, My thing
Yeah.
about Sean McVay, I give Sean McVay a D. Only and he doesn't get an F because he won the Super Bowl. They call this guy Wonderkin. I call him Blunderkin because you completely destroyed a phenomenal roster. You should have won more games than you won. It's so crazy to me because he was like, he gave me hope because he was 30 years old, got his first coaching job. Gave me hope because I'm like, we're like right there, the same age group. So I'm like, it's possible for me like to thrive, to maybe get a coaching gig someday. And the bench baby pooped and they're sending her over to me when I'm obviously doing something. Yes, baby. Go to mommy, please. Tell mommy do it. And and yeah, so Sean McVay gets an F from me. A F.
Shout out to Dirty Diapers. Yeah, so what do you let's go to Miami now. Oh, you disappeared. You going to go wipe the booty? No, come back so I can ask you this question about the Miami Dolphins. Where do you stand on Mike McDaniel? I think I like Mike McDaniel, but he's given those weapons, and I don't think he's even winning enough of what he's got. But he still needs a lot more than what they've given him so far. He's supposed to be like this offensive guy, and he's doing something, but that's not something that'll win you a Super Bowl. It's not enough to get you to a Super Bowl. That offense can score, but if they actually get bottled down by a solid secondary, they're not going to stand a chance. And that's just the way they built the team. And basically, they're a gimmick that's relying on two speedy receivers to get space. So if that doesn't happen, they have no chance because they have no plan B on offense, and no, not a and an average ass defense, I guess. Good, average to good, I guess. So I'd say he's an okay coach, but he probably isn't a Super Bowl winning coach. So B, I guess.
I'll
What's in
give
your
him a C. I'll give him a C. And the reason why I give him a C is because I feel like he's smart enough to know what to do with that offense. But I also read him low because the man doesn't know that much about football. And
That's
I
what I'm
can't
saying.
forget the clip. I could not forget the clip when a player did something and he was like, "Oh man, I thought that was so cool when you like didn't let the guy tackle you." And the player looked at him and was like, "Broke the tackle?" And he was like, "Yeah, that." That bothered me because as a football player, football coach, it bothered me to see somebody who doesn't know the game. That really bothers me. So that's why I'll rate him so low. And I think we're gonna stop here. We're gonna pick this up. We stopped at Mike McDaniel. I think we're gonna pick this up another time in the next episode because we're gonna go right back in. Gonna talk a little bit more about coaches. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll just go from there. See what's next.
All right.
So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, that's Boulevard and GQ live from the bench. We'll holler at you and we see you when you see you. For the meantime, I'm sorry, like and share, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Peace.